How far can one go for art? More importantly, how far, how deep, how much into silence can one person push another human being for the sake of the perfection of their own art? When does the beauty of an image begin to conceal the pain behind it? And perhaps the most disturbing question is this: what is it like to be Ophelia? You have probably seen this painting before. A woman floating in water, flowers around her, on her face, a strange sense of peace. At first glance, this scene is calm, even beautiful. But if you look a little longer, something begins to feel unsettling. Because this is not just a death, this is an aestheticized disappearance. And behind this image, there is not only a character, there is a real person. Everything begins with a story, Hamlet, and with one of its quietest characters, Ophelia, loves, but at the same time, she is controlled. Her father tells her what she must do. Her brother tells her how she must behave. The man she loves rejects her. And the worst part? No one ever truly asks what she feels. After a certain point, everything inside her begins to crack. Her father is no longer there. Hamlet's cruelty. The world loses its meaning. Everything Ophelia could hold on to begins to collapse, one by one, and Ophelia stops speaking. What takes its place? Songs, fragmented sentences, words that seem meaningless, but in reality, they are the final struggles of a suppressed mind. A river, a willow tree, and a body released into the water. As if she chose to disappear slowly. But right here, something changes, because this story does not end here. Years later, a painter wants to stop this moment, John Everett Millais, and he captures Ophelia in her final moment. But this is no longer a story. This is an image, controlled, arranged, beautified, and perhaps for the first time, disappearance looks this beautiful. But inside this painting, there is not only a character, there is a person, Elizabeth Siddal, young, silent, and forced to remain in the water for hours, truly, in a cold bathtub, motionless, controlling her breath, because art must be perfect. At first, and everything is under control, lights, composition, details, but then the heaters go out, the water grows cold, and no one notices, or no one wants to notice. Siddal does not move, because if she moves, the painting is ruined. When you look at Ophelia, the question of how far a person should go for a work of art suddenly becomes personal, because what we are discussing here is not just a painting. It is a boundary, and whether that boundary truly exists at all. John Everett Millais was not acting randomly. He was part of a movement, the Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood. For this group, art was not merely aesthetic. It was a kind of search for reality, but not an ordinary reality, a radical reality. There was no idealization, no beautification, no shortcuts, only observation. But such an observation that, to avoid detail, was almost considered immoral. For Millais, Ophelia was not a scene. It was a task, a commitment, almost a discipline. And like most disciplines, this one had a cost. Perhaps the problem was not that the line was crossed. Perhaps the problem was the belief that the line never existed. Millais was concerned with more than emotional reality. And the symbolic. What he was seeking was physical reality. Perhaps this was only possible if the water was truly cold, if the fabric truly grew heavy, and only then could the body truly carry that sensation. Because only then could the painting be correct. But as reality increases, so does pain. Look at the painting again. Flowers, daisies, innocence, Poppies, death, nettles, pain. Everything is intentional, everything is calculated, but one thing remains invisible. Pain, because pain is not aesthetic. At this point, Ophelia is no longer a human being. She is a composition, a symbol, an image, and perhaps the most disturbing part, it's no longer her story. But what the viewers feel, that matters. Elizabeth Siddal is no longer a model. She is a tool, a surface, a part of the composition. And this happens very often in art history. People get lost within the visual. In feminist thought, this has a name: objectification, the act of turning a human being away from their own experience into the meaning of someone else. So did Ophelia truly go mad? Or was this a collapse that was not understood? Or from another perspective, perhaps this was the only way to escape a controlled world. A silent refusal, a slow disappearance. This image did not remain here. It was reproduced again and again over the years, in films, in music videos, in photographs. Ophelia is no longer a character. She is an archetype, a feeling, an aesthetic form. Perhaps the most disturbing truth is this: we love this painting because it is beautiful, because it is aesthetic, because it is emotional, but at the same time, we are watching someone's disappearance. And the moment we realize this, we are no longer just spectators. Art, does it legitimize everything? Does beauty make pain invisible? And most importantly, if you were Ophelia, could you face this image? If you were looking from there, from within the water, as Ophelia, would what you see be as aesthetic as what those looking at you today find?